And hello, sports fans, and welcome to today's Sports Roundtable. We got a great show lined up for you for our official high school basketball preview for boys and girls basketball here in Southeast Missouri. You've come to the right place to get all the upcoming storylines and gameplay of high school basketball here in Southeast Missouri. We've got numerous guests that are going to be in today. We got our contributors, Terry McVey, Tommy Jacques, for boys basketball, and for girls basketball, we've got Jim Reiker and Scott Nelson, which we'll be getting to in just a moment. Also, we're going to have some conversations with some area coaches. We got Brad Botsch-Bernie. It's going to be along with us. Travis Day of New Madrid County Central, David Heeb of Clarkton, and Dustin Ferguson of Hayti. So we'll have some conversations with those coaches a little later on in our program, and glad you joined us for our official high school basketball preview right here on YHC TV and SemoSportsZone.com. And plenty of action last night, and we'll continue through this weekend in high school basketball. A lot of tournaments to kick off the season this past week. And we'll touch on some of those games that took place last night. And we had our opening game last night as Bernie defeated Twin Rivers in the Hockham Invitational Tournament Final. And that was a final of 46-39. The Bernie Mules over the Twin Rivers Royals. And the Bernie Mules get their second straight Invitational Tournament Final. And we've got a highlight of that game from last night, which we'll get to. And this is a very similar final that we're used to when it comes to this Invitational Tournament Final. Bernie and Twin Rivers seems like they always match up in this tournament, whether it's in the semifinals or most recently in the finals. And a very familiar opponent between these two teams, Bernie and Twin Rivers. And going to the highlight, show you some action from last night as Bernie got off to a really hot start. As we see here, Brandon Sparks with a three-pointer in the corner, opened up a 14-2 advantage here. It's going to be a 16-2 advantage at the end of the first quarter as Matt Vernon has a nice drive and finish, and another nice finish by Vernon in the paint there in the second quarter. And at that point, the midway through the second quarter, Twin Rivers started to make a run as Wilkerson gets a nice drive and finish there. And here's Ellenberg with a nice left hand for the Mules. Had a nice night for the Mules as Twin Rivers steadily got back into this game, but towards the end it was all Bernie with the finish there. Ellenberg there late in the fourth quarter that put it away for the Mules. And the Bernie Mules win their second straight Invitational Tournament Final in Hockham last night. So the Bernie Mules off to a nice start. 3-0 to start their season with that Invitational Tournament. And a lot to look forward to in the Bernie Mules this year. And Twin Rivers, they've graduated some players, some notable players, and come back and to get in that Invitational Tournament Final to start off the season. Pretty good start for the Royals themselves as well. So we'll be talking more about that later on. And moving on to some other games from last night, taking a look. And the third place game of the Invitational Tournament Final was Bloomfield over Puxco 79-63. Bloomfield running away with that game in the third place matchup. And in the consolation game, it was Campbell over Hockham 44-25. Campbell winning that game decisively in the consolation final. And in the seventh and eighth place game, it was Piggott over Risco, I think just by 2 points. So Piggott come away with seventh place in that Invitational Tournament in Hockham. And to other games, the Woodland Invitational Finals, Woodland over Scott City 61-58. Woodland winning their own Invitational Tournament. And that's one team to look out for this year, especially in the Stoddard County. Woodland looking very good. Actually played in the Stoddard County Tournament Final last year, bringing back a very competitive team, and it shows with that Invitational Tournament Final last night in Woodland. And also in the third place in Woodland, Perryville over Meadow Heights 66-46. And in the consolation game, it was Zalm over Leopold 53-50. And in other games from last night, Notre Dame over Charleston in the SEMO Conference going into overtime, 75-73. Notre Dame led pretty much all of that game. Charleston fought its way back and forced overtime Notre Dame gets the victory in overtime, 75-73. And also in the CMO Conference, Sikeston over Dexter, 52-27. Those are the CMO Conference matchups from yesterday evening. And also we have Portageville over East Prairie, 67-53. Portageville Bulldogs getting off to a nice start with a win over East Prairie. And also touching on the girls, very competitive invitational tournament in Farmington, and Saxony Lutheran comes away with that victory over Dexter in the championship game, 65-58. And we'll see these two teams do quite well over this season. Saxony Lutheran coming into a really good run as they've had a lot of young players move up to upperclassmen now, and we're starting to see them become more competitive each year. They went to the state Final Four last year, getting off to a good start with the Farmington Tournament Championship last night. And Dexter been the best girls program here over the last handful of years here in Southeast Missouri. Went all the way to the state championship last year. And a lot of new faces this year. Some underclassmen, freshmen is going to be playing at the varsity level, and some other returning players coming back this year. So the Dexter Lady Bearcats going to take them a while to come along. They've got some young players they're putting together for this roster. So you'll see both of these two teams have very good seasons this year. Probably two of the better programs, if not the best programs, coming into this season, Saxony Lutheran and Dexter. And those are the games from last night, and we'll be getting to more games as the Bulldog Classic in Gideon wraps up today in the championship game. It will be Zenith matching up. Zenith's got a very good run in this Bulldog Classic so far, and they'll take on Hayti in that championship game today. And a couple of those games we'll be talking about as well for the Gideon Bulldog Classic ending today. And talking about that Bernie and Twin Rivers game from last night, we're going to replay that today at noon and 6:30, and you can catch that Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock as well. And we'll get that uploaded over the weekend to cmosportzone.com as well. So that's our opener for our basketball schedule right here on YHC and cmosportzone.com. And we're going to take a quick break and be back with our girls basketball contributors Jim Reiker and Scott Nelson. They're going to be here to talk about the upcoming girls basketball season and some games we've already had so far in the opening week. And we'll be back with them coming up.
Deposit your check here or here or even there. Deposit your check wherever you are with First Midwest Bank's new mobile deposit. Just tap, snap, deposit. It's that simple. New mobile deposit from First Midwest Bank, serving the communities we call home.
Always on the go? Take the best in TV entertainment with you with New Wave to Go. Now you can enjoy your home television service everywhere, anytime on your laptop, tablet, or smartphone. Watch your favorite channels and sporting events live via the internet. Even access your home DVR to enjoy your recorded shows and movies or to set up future recordings. Prices start at just $12.99 a month. So call us today and ask about New Wave to Go. Another innovative service brought to you by New Wave, your local communications experts.
And now we're along with Jim Reiker and Scott Nelson talking about some girls basketball coming into this season. And guys, it's off to a pretty good start. I know you all are covering the Farmington Invitational Tournament Finals along with the Dexter Lady Bearcats, and always a competitive tournament, that Farmington tournament. And we've seen some area teams compete in that, and it's probably the premier girls tournament towards the start of the season. So we're going to talk about that and other teams coming into this year. it's been a pretty good year for girls basketball, going back a couple of years, making state tournament appearances and even Final Four appearances for a couple of teams. So certainly some teams to look out for this upcoming season. So first we'll just start off with the Farmington tournament that y'all got to see quite a bit of this past week. And last night, the finals, Saxon Lutheran over Dexter, two of probably the better teams that'll be coming into this season, Saxon Lutheran and Dexter.
Yeah, I would say those are two of the top maybe three teams in Southeast Missouri, Jackson being the other one. Scott, I think you'd agree with that. And Saxony's got some kids hurt. A couple of their juniors that went to the Final Four last year are hurt, but they played very well last night. They've got four juniors, three in particular played well. Mueller and Murley and Weezer that all really sort of controlled the ball game last night.
Yeah, and Saxon Lutheran, we've seen them come along for the past few years. Got a really talented junior class.
That's right.
Well, yeah, those girls started for Sam Sides there as freshmen. And as we all know, Sam Sides is a very good coach, and he's got them playing the right kind of basketball. It's real physical, and he's got the team to do that. And they took Dexter at the outset of that game last night, and before we could really kind of figure out what was going on, they got up on us a pretty good little bit, and then once we kind of figured it out, we played better with them. But the physicality of Saxony and their shooting ability, quite honestly,
was very good.
It was very good.
Yeah, and Dexter, quite a young team coming back. You graduate those seniors last year.
Yeah, 4,000 point scores.
Yeah, I was about to mention that 1,000 point scores across the board. You graduate those. Got some new faces this year. Very talented young girls coming up, especially in the underclassmen. So it's going to take some time for those girls to work into the roster. Play as an underclassman playing at the varsity level. It's going to take some adjustment time for those girls. So this is going to be a season where they're looking to develop it all towards the end of the season.
Yeah, they lost 78% I think of their points and 66% or something of their rebounds from last year through graduation. So that's a lot to lose. And I think the kids are trying to figure out what their role is a little bit. We do have some really talented underclassmen. Hannah Thurman and Kristen Garrison, both are freshmen. Both are going to be really good players for the Lady Cats, I think. They're trying to figure out their roles. And you brought up about coming from middle school to high school. They're really trying to figure out, I think, the physicality of the game. It's just so different. It's so much more physical at high school than it is at middle school. Just what it takes to block out, what it takes to go hard for 32 minutes. That's sort of what we saw these three games, don't you think, Scott?
Yeah, I really do. Jackson in that semifinal round when Dexter played Jackson, Jackson a very experienced team, a very good guard play, and I kind of feel like Jackson. They're going to be good as long as they shoot the ball well. If they don't shoot the ball well, then they could struggle because they were lights out shooting against us through the first three quarters of that semifinal game. They went cold, and we were able to really make a heck of a comeback there in that fourth quarter. Now, last night they played Miller Career Academy in the third place game, and it was a struggle because they didn't shoot the ball well.
Right. And I think with Dexter, they shot it pretty well from three last night, better than I even thought as we looked at the stats coming home. They made 7 threes, 7 out of 18 last night. You've got, a couple of good returners, Dakota Reynolds at the point, Melanie McEwen at a wing who's playing extremely well. I think Melanie's scored about 20 every game so far, the first three games. She can really get to the basket. So it's just a matter of there's a lot to figure out. What is my role? What's the sub rotation going to be? The last couple of years, Coach Allen was pretty. He knew sort of when the game started. Okay, about 4 minutes in, I'm going to bring these two off the bench. He's trying to figure that out, and that takes time certainly because you got to figure out who's got what abilities, And frankly, we're just going to have to. The thing we saw, I think, was we're going to be able to score some points, but we've got to rebound a little better than we have. We're just not very physical.
And the new kids coming in. That the matchup zone that Coach Allen likes to play, it's tough to learn, especially at some of those positions. So like you said, Tyler, it's going to take a little bit of time, but I really feel like that they're going to get it here at some point during the season.
Sure, and we've got a graphic to give you kind of the incoming profile on the Dexter Lady Bearcats. Finished 27-4 last year, runner-up in Class 4. Finishing second in Class 4, got notable returners in Dakota Reynolds and Melanie McEwen with plenty of playing time from last year. And a lot of tournaments to open up this season. The Farmington tournament, which was just wrapped up, the Paragould tournament, and the Lady Royal Classic over in Broseley, Twin Rivers High School, and then the first regular season game on January 8th with Farmington. So, as you all mentioned, Dakota Reynolds and Melanie McEwen, they're the players coming back with the most playing time of the bunch. And like we said, a lot of underclassmen and some players returning that have been out a few years that are coming back as well.
Yeah, we've got my daughter Katie and Caroline Kersey both are back, and Caroline is starting at one of the wings for us. And the one plus this group has is it's a big. We can play awfully big. We've got probably 5 kids that are 5'10" or bigger. A couple of 6-footers, so we can be big. As we mentioned, Hannah Thurman and Kristen Garrison, both freshmen. Kristen moved in from Clearwater. Of course, Hannah's come up through the ranks, sort of at Dexter. They're going to be really good, and then on the bench, 3 sophomores: Harley Allen, coach's daughter, and Sydney Rogers and Cheyenne Mosby, and they're both going to be contributors. And I think everybody will be good contributors as the season goes along. We talk a lot about it being it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And especially with a young team, I think that's really the case. We saw some growing pains last night. I think we saw some good things on Thursday night when they came back with a win. We saw last night how maybe not to finish a game. So I think they'll grow, and it's a unique schedule you're talking about, 10 games to start the season, all in tournaments, none of which are at home. Mm-hmm. So when you've got young kids, you don't get a home game, you're on the bus, all those things, that makes a big difference. That's a learning process even. It's one thing to,
and it's not like we're traveling down to Clarkton to play in a tournament. I mean, we're, hour and a half bus rides, and,
right.
and we're going north for a week, and then next week, first game, I guess, Jim, is
Thursday night, right?
And go down to Paragould, and my goodness, Northeast Arkansas always has great girls basketball teams, and we open up with Valley View. Is that right?
That's right. And I think the other thing is with these young teams, you would love to have had a day off in this tournament because of the snow. We played 3 straight days. I'm sure Coach Allen and Coach Seitz would have loved to have had a day in the gym after that first game to say, okay, these are the things we saw. This is what we need to work on. Haven't had that yet, so they'll have to work on those things Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then 3 straight games again Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you don't really get that time in the gym with a young team to work. And for a coach, I would imagine that's a little frustrating. You'd like to be able to have that day in between to fix the problems that you see.
Yeah. And sticking within the district, the Class 4 District 1 is always competitive. Notre Dame and Dexter right there in the mix every year. Notre Dame took Dexter down to the wire last year.
Right.
Lose a lot of players from last year's team, and Dexter beat up on Notre Dame earlier in this tournament. So Notre Dame's really taking a step back, it seems like, early on this season to look at.
Yeah, they're in a state of flux, so much like Dexter, I think, in that they've got to figure out, Coach Peters has got to figure out who's going to play where and how and when and all those kinds of things. We talked coming home last night, Notre Dame's 0-3. I don't remember that happening in 15 years probably. I think in the district, Sykeston's going to be much better. Coach Schoenoff's got a good group over there this year. Only lost 1 senior last year, I think. I think Kennett's going to be all right. I sort of wondered, they made a coaching change right before the season, but Jordan Penn's coaching down there, and he's got a great pedigree. The Penn family's been a great girls basketball group at Portageville, so he knows the game, and I saw they beat Portageville the other night. Perryville probably will still be down. Cape Central's winning a few games, but I believe it'll come down to Dexter, Notre Dame, Kennett, Sykeston probably in the district in Class 4, I would guess. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I do. I agree with that for sure.
So, that Class 4 has been, very competitive, and it seems like a team that's won that's done well in state tournament play. So that'll be a tournament to look at once again this year.
And just in talking about, the Class 4 districts, the one that District 1 obviously will play the winner of District 2. And, when we were looking at that early on before the season started, everyone sort of was pointing to North County at being the team to maybe come out of there. But early this season, they've struggled in some games, so we don't really know. Who knows?
Yeah, by February, who knows who improves? Like I said, it's a marathon. A team you see in December is going to be a real different team than what you see in February, So that was one of the things we talked about. We're excited because we play Jackson the second game of the season, and we play them the next to last game of the season. So it really will give, I think, Dexter fans a good benchmark of how much have we improved over the course of the year.
And also we'll get another shot at Saxony, just see how that goes. So.
Right,
sure. Saxony playing in Class 3.
Yeah.
So they'll be very competitive in Class 3 as they have been. Made it to the Final Four last year. So they're going to be right there as well.
To me, and Jim. But I think Saxony for Southeast Missouri in Class 3 is going to be the team to beat. They've got the shooters, they've got some size, they're physical, they're experienced, they're well coached, and they've got one of their players won't be returning. She has an ACL injury, but I think one of the other starters will be coming back for them, and they've got a couple of freshmen that played a lot last night. And they're going to get better, as they come through the season. So I think Saxony Lutheran is going to be real good coming out of Southeast Missouri.
Yeah, probably in Class 3, if it all plays out the way everybody sort of thinks it will, there will be a sectional game later in the playoffs between Saxony and Park Hill Central, and that could be maybe the best girls game in Southeast Missouri this year. I mean, Park Hills is going to be
sectional, or will that be?
No, it's sectional. They're 1-3, districts 1 and 3.
Yeah, that's right.
And those two teams, Park Hills Central has got pretty much everybody back. They just dropped down. I think they went from being the smallest school in Class 4 to one of the biggest schools in Class 3 this year with the redistricting, and that'll be a heck of a game because Park Hills is going to have a really good basketball team as well.
That's correct.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to that. And, shifting to the smaller schools in Class 2, Class 1, I know Neelyville's been right there in the mix the past couple of years. Looks like they return pretty competitive team in themselves in Neelyville.
Yeah, I think Neelyville, well, we were sort of talking about this yesterday. I think Neelyville will probably be, in our mind, the class of Class 2 in Southeast Missouri. Chaffee's going to be better, actually. I think they're going to be an improved team. But I think if I had to pick a team right now in Class 2, I think it would probably be Neelyville to advance out of those first couple district games.
Well, they're just going to be, Coach Becky Hale, she's such a fantastic coach and has had those kids for a long time coming up through middle school now and everything, and built that program, and they're just going to be really tough to beat coming out of here in Class 2. They really are.
I think so. And then I think in Class 1, I think Coach Deckard over at Naylor is going to have an awfully good team this year. He's got a lot of kids back.
He plays in that tougher, now that they moved Koshkonong and Couch into the district with Naylor. He's probably got maybe the toughest Class 1 district from around here now than he had, because Couch typically has some good teams. And, of course, Scott County Central now being Class 2,
right.
That's
right.
a different dynamic for sure.
Oran is in that Class 1 District 2, so they'll probably, as we looked at that, I would guess they'll come out of there. So could very well be Naylor and Oran ultimately in maybe a first-round state game. And Coach Deckard, he's got I think he lost one senior last year. He's got almost everybody back. He always has a really competitive team. You go to the Twin Rivers Lady Royals Christmas Classic, and they're almost always in the Final Four, and they're the smallest school there. So, he always puts a good product out there. So they'll be tough this year. They'll be a really good team, really good.
So, Neelyville and Naylor, they're always there in the mix.
Yeah.
Scott County Central's been right there in the mix as well. So, we had some pretty good teams here of late in girls basketball in Southeast Missouri, and there's going to be a lot of storylines develop. A lot of younger teams this year. We're seeing. Is there any really just senior dominated team this year that's really going to?
Actually, that's a really funny you bring that up. We talked at this Farmington tournament. 7 teams in the tournament. There were 10 seniors on all 7 rosters total, and 6 of those were on 2 teams. So the other 5 teams had 4 seniors total. Wow. We don't know if that's a trend in girls basketball or what, but
just an anomaly this year. Or
but Jackson had 3 seniors. Farmington had 3 seniors. We've got one. Miller Career had 1. Notre Dame's got 1. Of course, Saxony has none. So I mean, I don't know what it is exactly, but there are not in Southeast Missouri that we know of, at least, any senior dominated teams at all. That's exactly right.
Not
that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if you're a young team, this is a year to be one.
That's right. It's a good time to do it. That's exactly right. And I think in girls basketball more than boys, a freshman can contribute a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen that over and over and over. A freshman can contribute fairly quickly into a senior, where at a boys level, that's a much more difficult thing to do, I think, certainly.
So, we'll be looking forward to these teams develop over the years. So that's going to be the theme of girls basketball this year, the development of these teams, these young teams here in Southeast Missouri. So we'll be looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. Guys, is there anything else that we may have overlooked that some fans out there might be looking into this season?
No, I just think, if you get a chance over, most of the boys' Christmas tournaments are after Christmas, or a lot of them are. So, and the girls' tournament at Twin Rivers is before Christmas, and that'll be in the past few years, it's not been very competitive. Honestly, Dexter has sort of dominated the last 2 or 3 years. It'll be a very competitive. There are probably 5 or 6 teams that can win that thing this year. So I think it starts the 18th, finishes up on the 23rd. It'd be worth your money to drive to Brosley and watch some of those games, especially those last couple of days, because it'll be some really good girls basketball, I believe.
Yeah, I really do. And other than that, just like you said, Tyler, kind of watch the development. I think from our standpoint, we really feel like our young kids. It's just a matter of going into the gym and looking at some film and having Coach Allen and Coach Seitz say, okay, see, here's what we need to do, and they're smart enough that they're going to make those adjustments. And I really feel like we could really by the end of the year be pretty decent.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll be looking forward to the girls' basketball season. We'll be seeing these guys down the road. They do girls' basketball, Dexter Lady Bearcats basketball on 90.3.
90.3, KUH 90.3.
So you can catch the girls' games on the radio, and we'll be having a few girls' games ourselves down the road, a handful of those on YHC and CMOSportZone.com. And guys, we appreciate you guys coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Sharing with us, and we'll be looking forward to some girls' basketball down the road.
Thanks.
All right, man.
Thanks.
All right. And don't go away. We're going to get into our boys basketball preview. We're going to start off with David Heeb, coach of the Heeb-Clarkton Reindeer for the first time this year. So we'll be back with him coming up.
What is your emergency? Need assistance at County Road 61 and Highway 9. Help is on its way.
Clear! There's a better way to jumpstart your soil back to health. Apply Endzone to protect and increase nitrogen efficiency without killing bacteria. Apply Prevent to increase phosphorus availability and reduce fixation. Better yet, use them both to get more from your fertilizer investment and see higher potential yields. Ag Explorer, your prescription for healthy soil.
Welcome to NFL Total Access,
the show that takes you inside the locker room and down on the field. With inside access to all 32 teams all year long. NFL Total Access, Monday through Saturday, only on NFL Network.
NFL Network, where football season never ends.
And we're back, and now along with David Heeb, the head coach of the Clarkton Reindeer for the first time this year. He's a familiar face. He's been to plenty of schools here in Southeast Missouri, done very well at those schools, and now in your first year at Clarkton. First of all, we appreciate you coming up today and being with us.
Appreciate you having me.
Sure. And your first year with Clarkton, you've got a few games under your belt down the Gideon Bulldog Classic, and very competitive tournament this year.
Yeah, there are really 7 teams in this tournament I feel like probably could have been in the finals. In the losers bracket of the tournament, you had the 2, 3, and 4 seeds. And so, the first round didn't go the way that anybody thought it would go. But I think that just speaks to the depth and the quality of the teams in the tournament.
Sure. And you're going to be playing in the consolation game today? Or
yeah.
The consolation.
Whatever they call the game for 5th place.
Fifth place,
that's right. That's right.
And y'all got a very competitive Gosnell team. Is it Gosnell y'all are playing today?
That's correct, yeah. Gosnell's probably, the best team in the tournament, to be honest. They got seeded number 1 in our Christmas tournament that we have at Clarkton in a couple weeks. Gosnell's football team went really deep this year. They got far in their playoff system down there. As a matter of fact, in the seed meeting, their coach told us that if their football team would have won one more game, that he would only bring 6 players to this tournament because they'd still be playing football. 7 of his kids and probably 4 of his starters came off of that football team. So they've been playing for about a week, and that shows. You can still see they've got little bit of that football in them where they don't dribble it just right. They don't shoot it just right yet. And so, but they're a really, really talented bunch. They won our Clarkton Christmas tournament last year. They've got a point guard, about 6'2", 6'3", that's an all-state player down in Arkansas, a heck of a good player, and they're really well coached. So, I mean, we've got our hands full today. But that's what you want this time of year. You want to play people that are going to push you. I've always said, like, if the Lakers called and played, we'd play them. I mean, we want to play good people. That's the only way you get better, is to play people that are going to expose the things that you're not good at. And so we'll definitely see that today against Gosnell.
Okay, so we'll be looking forward to that consolation game. What time's that game going to be today?
We play at 2:30. 2:30.
They're in Gideon, the Bulldog Classic, for that consolation final. And we got a profile on the Clarkton Reindeer to give a profile on them coming into this season, and a very, very successful year last year. 17-10 district champions in Class 1 District 1, losing to Scott County Central in the state tournament. Returning some key players: Quan Elliott, Dante McBride, Emmanuel White. Do I have that right? Those guys coming back this year?
That is correct.
Okay, so got some of those guys coming back. Graduate some pretty good players last year. Dylan White, also Reed Morgan, and probably a few others I'm overlooking. But a very good team last year, district champions, and coming back trying to duplicate that certainly. And a very good team last year coming into this year. So you think that a lot of that enthusiasm's carrying over to this year?
I do. This is actually my second year at Clarkton. Last year I'm the principal at Clarkton also, and last year I was just the principal, and our coach was Dustin Ferguson. Dustin's gone on to Hayti, did a great job. Probably the first time in my career that I'm inheriting a program where it's a winner. Like a lot of the places I've been at Bell City, Scott County, wherever, even at Scott County Central, they were struggling, when I went back in there and took over. And so, it's always been a rebuild. This situation here is unique because I've been around these kids for a year already. I know all these kids. Dustin and I are great friends, and so he gave me a lot of access to the kids last year as a principal. I got to, kind of throw a tidbit out every now and then. Hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Or just whisper in a kid's ear, you need to be doing this. And so I know the kids personally. I've got a relationship, but also they know I like basketball. So, they saw me as a coach last year also. And so, first of all, I'm grateful to Dustin. He did such a good job that he left me a team here that, is going to be fun to work with. But also, it's just unique to kind of come in as a coach. A lot of times you have to spend that first couple months getting to know the kids. But we lost some really good players. Marco Alvarado was our point guard, heck of a good player. Reed Morgan, Antoine Johnson, Dylan White, all-state player. I mean, we lost 4 starters. You had the graphic there a while ago, our returning players. So far this year, Quan Elliott has not played for us yet. We're waiting to get him back. Dante McBride is a returning player, but he had a car wreck last year and probably missed 90% of the season. He got to come back right at the district. So the only player we have right now that's playing for us that has any varsity experience at all is Emmanuel White. The rest of our kids, Cody Lott blew a knee out last year. Trey Moore did not get to play last year. Taylor Rice was actually the manager last year. Dante had a car wreck. That's 4 of our starters I just named off. The kids on our bench were JV players last year. Another kid on our bench didn't even go to school at Clarkton last year, has never played any type of organized basketball. And so there's a lot of learning process right now. And I feel like that when you're if you have aspirations to be good at the end of the year, you need to take this time of the year and almost take a step back. I'm as competitive as anybody I know. I want to win. But I'd rather be good at the end of the year than try to just win every game right now. So right now we're actually playing 10 kids. We're just rotating kids in and out of the game, trying to see what we've got right now. And as a matter of fact, the starting lineup that we're going to start today, the starting lineup that we started Thursday night, is not the starting lineup that I would have predicted even 2 weeks ago. I mean, so we're learning new things about our kids, but I don't know that that's a good thing. I mean, I would rather, have settled on a lineup by now. Most people that know me know I'm very simple type of a coach. I played for Ronnie Cookson, and we would press 1-2-2 from the 7th grade to the 12th grade, back in that 2-3 zone, run the same offense, and we just got so good at what we did that we could mail you our playbook. It was about this thick. And we could tell you what we were going to do, but we were so good at it that we'd seen every way that you could guard it. And really that's what basketball comes down to. There's 2 ways to look at it. We can run simple plays and say you're going to switch the screens, or you're going to hedge the screens, or you're going to pack it in, or you're going to come out and pressure us. There's only so many ways you can guard this play. Well, once we've seen all those ways, we can counter all those things. And we have counters within 1 or 2 plays that we run. Or other coaches will say, I'm going to come up with 15 plays. So if you take away play number 1, I'll run play number 2, play number 3, play number 4. I'm just not that way. I'd rather keep it simple. And so having said all that, I'd rather just have one lineup and one way of playing, and let's get good at that from game 1 through game 25. And by district times, we're going to be tough. But so far, we haven't been able to get to that because of we just don't have continuity within our group. But hopefully over the next month, we can get there. And I think about January, we'll start hitting our stride. I really do.
Sure. So, this, like we've said, it's your first year at Clarkton, but being in the school for 1 year already, you know these kids in the hallways, you interact with them, so that probably makes it a lot easier coming into as a first-year coach.
It does, and I mean, we've got great kids. I can think of right off the top of my head probably 2 or 3 kids on our team that are straight A kids. I mean, just straight A's up and down, honor roll kids. I'm the principal, so they don't want to come and see me. They don't get in trouble at school. We've got great kids, and they work hard. And that's the thing that I keep telling these guys is, we're going to get there. It may take us a little longer than we want to, but I've never seen a kid work as hard as he can and not get there. I believe in hard work, and that's what I tell these kids is, we're not all just born with a great deal of talent. Even the kids that I coached way back in the day at Bell City, we had kids that were maybe as a JV player not very good, or maybe as a junior high player were a manager or something like that somehow or another became a guy that could fit into a rotation, or maybe he was just a good 7th man that come off the bench and rebound. That was what he learned how to do for us. And so, but if you work as hard as you can, I've never seen a kid do that and regret it. I've never seen a kid work as hard as he can and not see some improvement. And I think that's a lesson that you can teach kids going forward into their adult life. I mean, if you truly put effort into it, you're going to see results. So I believe that'll happen again this year because these kids are good kids at Clarkton, and we really do work hard. It's just going to take time.
Sure. So we'll be looking forward to the Clarkton Reindeer. We're going to see them a few times here on YHC and CMOSportZone.com. And a very fun team to watch last year. A lot of enthusiasm around that team last year. I'm sure it's going to that enthusiasm is going to roll over this year. Be looking forward to seeing how the Reindeer perform this season. So, David, appreciate you spending some time with us, and good luck today over in Gideon against Gosnell.
Thank you very much.
All right. And we're going to take another break. We're going to have our contributors, Tommy Jacques and Terry McVey, along with us, talk more about some boys basketball. We're going to have other coaches on the phone as well throughout this program, so don't go away.
Introducing New Wave Wi-Fi at home. Now you can stay connected to the web and not the wall. One connection connects multiple computers, so you can surf the internet from any room in your home with no wires, no worries, and no limits to what you can do. Everything is included. One simple call is all it takes. Connect everyone, everywhere, with New Wave Wi-Fi at home.
Wireless modem service now included with every bundle package. Call 1-888-8-NEW-WAVE to
And welcome back, and we're along with our contributors. We got Tommy Jacques and Terry McVey continuing our boys basketball preview. And we've actually got Dustin Ferguson on the line with us over the phone from Hayti basketball coach and first-year coach at Hayti this year. Dustin Ferguson. And Dustin, we're glad to have you on with us today.
Thanks for having me, guys. Hope everything's going well.
Yeah, it sure is. And we just got done talking with David Heeb, now at Clarkton, as you move from Clarkton to Hayti, and had a lot of good things to say about you and last year's team, coming off that great season y'all had as district champions there at Clarkton, and you move on to Hayti and going to be playing in that Gideon Bullock Classic Championship today against Zenith. So first off, Dustin, how's your first week at Hayti and your first year in Hayti so far?
I love it. I really think that the kids have bought into what we're trying to do. They're playing hard. I have great administration. I like the environment over there, and we got a good thing going. I think we're in a bit of a rebuilding phase, trying to get everything set how we want it, but we're on the right track, I believe.
Sure, and we can certainly talk about last year's team with Clarkton. We won't talk much about the past with you being at Hayti now, but certainly a great year. You finished up with Clarkton last year in your first year at Clarkton. You certainly had a year to remember there in Clarkton, winning the district championship and just falling to Scott County Central in the state tournament last year. So not a bad way to start out.
No, it was a great year. That was a roller coaster year. If anybody remembers, we started off really sloppy, really slow, and it was a process. But I always told the kids it's a marathon, not a sprint. So we finally figured it out, and just so happened we got hired at the right time, which is what this game is all about, But those guys, love those guys. Those guys did a great job last year. We had a real tight-knit group, built a family instead of just a basketball team.
Sure. And coming into this year, Hayti's been a very talented group over the past number of years, and you got a couple guys this year to look forward to coming in and coaching. Brandon Burden, big guy for Hayti we've seen over the past couple of years, and Presbury's coming back as well, and a couple of other talented players in there as well. So you've gotten off to a pretty good start already.
Yeah, we're getting going. I mean, we're somewhere right now. We're not there, but we're somewhere along the road. Brandon's been playing really well. Indy Quayle's played really well. Devin Riddick. We're only 2 games in, and tonight's going to be another battle for us. But those guys, like I said, they bought into what we're doing. We have a lot of athletes. We play really hard. We're rebounding phenomenal right now. We're just getting on the glass. So those are things that we can make our staples, I think. I think anybody can play hard. I think and we're showing that. There's about 4 levels, I believe, of teams that play hard. There's the ones that don't play hard at all. There's some that play kind of hard, and there's some that play hard, and then there's that top level. I think that we're just on the 3rd level right now, but we're trying to get to that top level.
Sure, and like you said, a talented group you're working with already, and we'll be looking forward to seeing how Hayti does this year. Guys, you want to chime in with Dustin with anything today?
No, we're just going to congratulations to you, Dustin, for getting in the finals tonight. You have a nice team, and you've got a good program being built down there. And I think you were telling me the other night you got a junior varsity coming along. It's going to be pretty hard to handle too. And we have always said this before. If the talent that Hayti has year in, year out, if they'll buy into Dustin Ferguson's style of play and play by his rules, there'll be something to contend with.
I really appreciate that. We like I said, we have a long way to go, but those guys, especially our young group, they just know how to score. There's fundamentals, and we're building more and more. So yeah, that's a good thing. But I would like to say hats off to Gideon last night. Man, they play hard, and they are a very good team. Play so hard. They really tested us last night, but I was very happy that we were as disciplined to get out a game like we did last night.
Sure. So, you're going to be playing in the finals today against a Zenith Hornersville team that's certainly making some waves early on this year, opening some eyes, and that'll be the final tonight there in Gideon. And what time's that game tonight, Dustin?
That's at 8:30.
8:30 start tonight in Gideon. It's Hayti versus Zenith Hornersville. for that Gideon Bulldog Classic. You'll be seeing more of Zenith Hornsville down the line playing in the Boot Hill Conference. It's going to be a very competitive Boot Hill Conference this year.
Absolutely. There's a lot of parity in the conference. A lot of good teams, a lot of good coaching. It'll be fun. I'm excited for that.
Sure. And Dustin, we appreciate you spending some time with us this morning, and we'll look forward to that game later on with Zenith Hornsville, and we'll be seeing you guys down the road, and good luck the rest of the way.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
All right. And that's Dustin Ferguson, Hayti. It's always in the mix here of late the past few years. So not a whole lot changed in that regard. So Dustin Ferguson, great first year to start off with there at Clarkton, and goes to Hayti, and he's certainly wanting that to tied over to the Hayti Indians.
Well, and like he said last year, with his first year at Clarkton, they started out the year sloppy, but then coaching really took over, and they came out as one of the better teams in Southeast Missouri last year by the end of the year, and that's attributable to the coaching. I think we'll see that at Hayti.
Sure.
I think that's right. And I'm sure Coach Heeb would tell you the same thing. All his players out there, the majority of them now, Ferguson stamps on them all. He'll tell you, I inherited a good bunch of young men that's been very well coached the year before, and I just think Ferguson do a good job. He'll do a good job wherever he's at, and in that Boot Hill Conference, that thing's going to be wide open from the first seed to the fifth seed, and how you're going to seed them, who knows?
Sure.
But it's going to be fun. It's going to be very exciting. Zenith rears their head up down there, and all of a sudden, we hadn't heard from Zenith for a few years. They're a very good team. And when they get that other player in there that'll be eligible, they're going to be something to contend with.
Yeah, I was going to do better on my sleeper pick this year, and Zenith was going to be the sleeper.
He's going to sleeper pick. Okay.
I mean, they go in as a sixth seed at Gideon,
right,
and knock off Gosnell.
Exactly.
And probably the most talented players coming in January.
Right.
And we can talk about that. Kyle Moore's been a heck of a player for Zenith Hornsville. He's in the mix with Zenith Hornsville already, but a player that they'll have at the semester break. Here, a kid from Jonesboro is coming in for Zenith Hornsville.
He's Victor Dukes. He's about 6'5", 220, and some rankings had him last year as the second best player in Arkansas. And even on some, I think you can probably go on the ESPN site. There's one video of a dunk he did that just shows you what athletic potential he has, and to see him come to the Boot Hill Conference, teaming with Moore, and I believe they got another 6'6" kid, Autry.
I think he blew his knee out.
He blew his knee out, but he'll be back.
Yeah.
He's going to be back.
That's going to be a load.
You got guys like that playing in the Boot Hill Conference and playing in that class. By the end of the year, Zenith's going to be a very, very good team. They're already good. They're playing the championship game of a very good tournament tonight.
Exactly. As you say, what they come in seeded sixth?
Came in sixth.
And they're going to be playing for the championship. And
they came in seeded sixth. Delta C7 comes in seeded seventh. Delta C7 beats Caruthersville.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe, Delta C7 beats Caruthersville. And that probably hadn't happened since Terry Meade was in high school.
That's probably right.
There's some teams that are coming up. They're getting new coaches. They're getting new programs, and there's teams that are building and coming up that it's just going to make everything better. They're going to make the season better.
I'm glad to see that. I sure that makes it good. And I've got to throw in a gig for them all in Green Wave. They're playing well. They're loaded. They got some kids that have been out for the last couple of years that are back, that are contributing, and they're just doing. We got the big Ison kid, 6'4", 6'5", and got a Barber kid back. He's 6'3", and they're playing very well. Went up last night and came in second at Oran behind Scott County Central. Beat them by I think 4. Mm-hmm. And Robert Ison was telling me this morning, said that Marlin played very well, and said it was just a good ball game. And Marlin gets another chance at them before Christmas. Green Wave Halford's kind of took that schedule, and before the Christmas tournament, we're going to be playing the Kennett and Twin Rivers. They're going to be a load too. We saw them last night, and Scott County Central again for the Christmas tournament. So, they're going to get tough. They're going to have to get tough. They're going to survive, and I think they will. They got Cortez Dobbins in there. Of course, Cortez a 4-year starter on that varsity level, and he and Draymond coming off of football. It didn't take them long to hit the ground running, playing basketball. So, good luck to the Greenway. Hope everything holds in there and these kids will buy in. Like I say, the Ferguson style, I hope they buy into Halford style, because you can see the success that Marlin football had by buying into Joel White's and doing Joel White's style.
And to get back to Malden, of course, Cortez Dobbins was their all-everything player, and they relied on him for everything last year. They had some young players last year. I can't remember. There's one young freshman who had some size. Played last year.
I believe his name. I'll tell you in a minute. It escapes me.
I know
right
you
now.
and I have to put our ages together.
We might be able to figure out one name.
Yeah, we might be able to figure. We might be able to figure out our names.
Reggie, I got the first day. Reggie.
But he was a kid with some pretty good size that could shoot outside, and they had some good players. You could see coming last year to go with Dobbins. And they played Scott Central last night, said 2 within 4, and that was at Oran, so that's right up. That's almost home game for Scott Central. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, we got that Perkins kid that can play some point guard. He's pretty good. They say some people call him a streaky shooter. I'm gonna tell you what, he's a pretty selective shooter in my opinion. He's pretty good, and I hate to leave any kids off, but man, they've got some kids that are contributing, and if they, like I say, if they'll buy in and accept their role, things are going to be good. And you're going to have to be that.
It's a team game.
And you're going to have to do that if you're going to compete in that Boot Hill Conference this year.
Sure, certainly a very competitive Boot Hill Conference, and speaking of that game with Scott County Central bringing back a very good team. You got Jeffrey Porter. Got Kendall Blissett, is it Matthew Blissett, the other Blissett in there as well?
So. That's right.
Maybe I have that right. And, they dominated Class 1 last year to a state title. Move up to Class 2 this year. Mm-hmm. That was one of the more interesting developments with the district assignments over the off season coming into this year. So they're going to move up to Class 2, and maybe a little tougher road for the Braves, but they'll compete at a high level.
Yeah.
They've been there.
Yeah, they've been there before.
Mm-hmm. And I think they won at Class 2 before.
Yeah, they did. And they had I think it's a young man's name is McDaniels that plays over there. A pretty good player too, And he contributed, I think, last night quite a little bit. But Hayti moving up to Class 3 and Poysville moving up to Class 3, and then here we got Scott County Central moving up to Class 2 is going to throw a little bit more of cast a shadow on this Class 2 tournament around here.
Certainly will. Yeah. And speaking of Class 2, the Bernie Mules right there in the mix as well, and we're going to try to get Brad Botsch here on the line. If we can get him on the line. Talked about last night's game with Twin Rivers and their victory, and they're certainly one of the teams in Class 2 that are going to be in the mix as well. And Brad, you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, and we got Brad Botsch on the line, Bernie coach for the Mules. And Brad, we just kind of started edging into Class 2, and it's good to have you here in the mix. And we come off your game last night with Twin Rivers. Got up to a really good start with Twin Rivers last night, and basically held off the Twin Rivers Royals. They kind of just worked their way back into that game, and you did a pretty good job holding off the Royals for 3 quarters last night there in Holcomb.
Yeah, I mean they came, and I thought they had a good tournament up to that point, and Dustin does a great job over there, and we knew we'd have our hands full, and our kids came out of the gates ready to go, and we kind of got off to a fast start, and kind of propelled us in the first half, and had to do some adjusting as the game went on, but I was proud of our kids for finding a way to win last night.
Sure. And, Brad, last year's team, I know we had a lot of enthusiasm coming into last year, had a really good group together. It just seemed like last year you didn't get to put your best team on the floor. You had Troy Kirkpatrick out most of the year, came back towards the end, and Caleb Ellenberg going out with an ankle injury at the end of last year. Just seems like you never got your best team on the court last year, and you went out in the district championship against South Pemiscot. But certainly, it's kind of one of those seasons that what could have been, what could have been seasons for the Bernie Mules last year, and how's that transitioning into this year?
Well, we did have some key players go down last year, and Troy never did get to be himself, and that and the true form that he got to show the years prior. And Caleb going down the Stoddard County tournament, we didn't have him the rest of the year, so it was a tough year not to be able to have everybody, but we still had a lot of success, and everybody stepped up. And one of the things we had last year that we don't have this year as much is the depth that we were fortunate to have. And when you don't have as much, you kids have to be in great shape. You have to do a few different things strategically. We're a little more slow and methodical than what we've been in the past, and we have to get great looks and execute offensively, because we're going to try to shorten some possessions somewhat in the game. And this group's not shot the ball very well yet, and I think they will. They always have, and until we shoot the ball a little bit better, we're going to have to keep finding ways to win. And so far our kids are just grinding wins out, and in a tournament that has a good parity as what this one did, we're fortunate and feel good about coming out on top.
Sure. And you talk about the methodical way y'all's going to have to play this year. It seemed like y'all got out to a really nice lead, and then you kind of went to the ball control, methodical, the patient offense, and I thought you played it quite well. Tommy and I were there last night, and you didn't really turn the ball over. That's one thing. If you play that style, it'll hurt you if you turn the ball over and give the other team opportunities. But it seemed like y'all took a lot of time off the clock, got some good looks, and it looks like you're capable of playing that way because you're not committing the turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, we started off, we scored, I think, 16 points in the first quarter. And, we can continue to play and attack a little bit more as long as we're not in foul trouble. But if we start getting in foul trouble and get some key players in foul trouble, and Caleb got two there early in the second quarter, back to back, and we had to kind of slow it down. He's one of our biggest offensive weapons, and we've got some guards that can handle the ball out there, and I'm sure some teams are going to try to throw some different things at us, but we want to be able to be prepared that if they do, we can start attacking a little bit more. If they want to double team or start doing some trapping or whatever they need to do, we've got to be able to adjust to that and try to burn them when they do. But I thought we had some kids contribute when he was out, and we actually the lead didn't diminish much when Caleb went down with 2 fouls, and Devin Trammell had to come out with 2 fouls as well. He's probably one of our best rebounders and defenders, and the kids continued to maintain the lead and played pretty solid defense overall most of the night. And so far, even though we don't have much size, we've held our own rebounding wise, even against bigger teams. And I'm proud of the kids for getting it out. It may not have been the prettiest win, and I know a lot of people like to see the up and down style, and that's kind of what Southeast Missouri is known for. But with your personnel, you get every year, you don't get to pick and choose what you get. So you basically got to, you win, find ways to win with your personnel, what fits your team the best every year.
Sure. And you guys want to get in?
What he just said, we were talking last night, you were really outsized. Twin Rivers got a nice-sized team, but how your kids crashed the boards have got some real key rebounds down late. I think your guard Matt Vernon?
Yes.
He crashed the boards, and that little guy got up there with the boys and made them work for it. And he got some rebounds, tied the ball up a couple times where the game was like a 3-point game at that time. So I was impressed how, of course, it doesn't surprise me how Bernie plays. They just play, they just go. They're going to hustle, and hustle makes up for a lot. And Bernie just got out there and got after it. And I was really proud of your team, and I know you were. And congratulations to you and the Bernie Mules.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Matt and Brandon handle the ball extremely well. And, they're 5'8", 5'9" kids. They're not very big, and they're giving up 3-4 inches on everybody they play against. But, they've done a lot of work in the off season. Those kids have done a ton of work, and Coach Long has done an excellent job getting things together, weightlifting wise. He's changed some things up, and really got these kids on a great basketball workout. It's really specific in what we try to do, and these kids are strong, and probably it's one of the strongest teams we've had, and and we've got to be in great shape with the depth we have. And again, I thought last night that we did what we had to do to find a way to win, and that's the name of the game. We're never going to blow anybody out, and I don't think anybody's probably going to blow us out for the most part. But I think we're going to be in most every game we play, and we just got to. We've got some things we got to improve on. Our free throw shooting hasn't been very good. We haven't shot it from the perimeter very well. But if these kids will stay the course and keep being coachable and work hard, I think we've got a real chance to be just as solid as what we've been in the past. And we're looking forward to having a good season.
And Brad, we're taking a look at your upcoming games. You got South Iron coming up this next week. I think it's Tuesday night, and it's going to be certainly a tough matchup. South Iron's been a very good Class 1 team going back a number of years, so got quite a test coming up this week. And also Woodland down the road. That's a team to look out for in the Stoddard County this year.
Yeah, South Iron's probably one of the favorites to win Class 1 this year, if not the favorite. I have a lot of respect for Coach Dinkins and his program up there. We go up and play them every summer, and we matched up with him several years ago back in the sectional round. And, he just does an excellent job up there, and his kids are always, got, just a lot of basketball IQ. They're just smart basketball kids, and they know how to play the game. And, we went up there last year kind of as a replacement game just to pick up, and after some of the ice and snow and stuff, and, they whipped us good at their place. So hopefully we can find a way to compete with them this year, even though that they're the perennial power in Class 1, I think, this year, the team to beat. And, every game, we got 4 games, and Gideon's improved. We got them Friday, and then we go, we don't have one of the next 4 at home. And we got to play Gideon, Woodland, and Bell City, and all those teams are improved. So we've got to work it out for us. We could go 0-4 in the next 4 games if our kids aren't focused on each team and each possession, every night.
Sure. So we're looking forward to more of the Bernie Mules later on this season, and we're going to have the South Iron and Bernie game this coming week on Tuesday. So that'll be certainly a good game to look forward to this next week with the Mules taking on South Iron. And guys, you have anything else?
I just want to congratulate Coach Botsch on the program he's built, because since he's been there, it's just been an excellent program, year in, year out. One thing he talked about, they may not blow out anybody, but they're not going to get blown out. That's because of the way they play defense, and if you play defense the way Coach Botsch teaches it and the way Bernie always plays it, you're always going to be in the games. And what people were looking at was kind of a rebuilding year for Bernie this year. To start out winning a tournament, that's a pretty good start to a rebuilding year, and when you win, that breeds confidence, and when you're a little more confident, the shots are going to start falling.
Sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's a very nice compliment. And we've had great kids over the years, and we've been fortunate to have a lot of players in our program that have bought in and done the things we've asked them to do. And it's been a nice run, and we appreciate the kids that we've had in the programs and the support we get from our parents. And we've been fortunate as coaches, Jason and I'm fortunate to have Jason there with the work that he does, and he puts in more hours than I do. I mean, you don't have a lot of assistant coaches that do that, but it's nice place to work, and we're both from Bernie, and we try to take a lot of pride in our kids and our program, and we do the best we can. We're not going to win every game, and we're going to try to put a good team on the floor every night as we can.
All right. So, Brad, we'll be seeing more of the Bernie Mules down the road. And, as always, we appreciate you spending some time with us here on the Roundtable.
You bet. Thanks for having me, Tyler.
All right. See you down the road. And Brad Botsch getting off to a good start. Invitational tournament final, that game Tuesday night. You need to tune in, guys. Mm-hmm. South Iron and Bernie is going to be a good one.
It will be. Sure.
It'll be a good one.
You've got to just take your hats off to Bernie and Coach Botsch and Coach Long. They're going to put a competitive program. You hit it on the head. They have built a program, down there, and it just a lot of teams will be good this year. May not be good for another 4 or 5 years. Bernie's going to be competitive about every year.
Yeah, certainly will.
They've got a program in place down there, and it's fun to watch Bernie play, and I like to see good things happen to good people, and I believe Coach Botsch and Coach Long and all the people are very good people.
Sure. And I mentioned the Woodland game because Woodland's a team to look out for this year, guys. They had a fair year last year, but I thought they really impressed in the Stoddard County tournament. Played Bernie in that district final. Bernie come away with the championship, but Woodland's got this Garrett Reynolds. Really had a fine year. He's off to a good start this year. And this kid that transferred in from Leopold, big guy from Leopold, stands around 6'6" kid. That's come in, and if you got 6'6" on your team, he's gonna contribute.
You bet.
So Woodland's a team to look out for in the Stoddard County Conference this year.
And they won their tournament last night, didn't they?
Yeah, the Woodland
they
Invitational.
beat Scott City.
Scott City, yeah. So nice team to look forward there with Woodland. And staying in the Stoddard County Conference, Dexter this year. Going to have a new coach. They got Josh Dowdy that's been in the Stoddard County. He's been in the Advance. Now with the Dexter Bearcats as he takes over for the Bearcats this year. And they got some returning players, quite a few returning players this year. Noah Kronk, Peyton Pollock, Austin Chesser, among some others I'm probably overlooking. So they got a group coming back, and they're going to compete in that conference this year.
I always like Coach Dowdy. I think he'll do an excellent job. He puts, you can tell he puts a lot of time. He cares, and I think he's going to work on this Dexter program and try to get Dexter back like Dexter was at one time, And I wish him a lot of luck because I think he's fine. He's another one of our fine young coaches in this area. And they start out with a brutal schedule.
Yeah,
they always do.
Oh, yeah.
They've already had Charleston and Sykeston last night. Charleston Tuesday night, Sykeston last night, and then they go right into the CMO Conference tournament next week, which we've got the tournament seeds. If we can bring up the tournament seeds for the CMO Conference tournament next week in Sykeston, they'll open up with Kennett. In that 8-9 game, the winner takes on Jackson, the number 1 seed.
Yeah,
so
that's going to be that's a big winner's prize. Yeah. But talk about on Dexter, I look for a lot of good things to come from Dexter. One, you got a lot of such good town support. You got a good good tradition, and Coach Dowdy, as you said, he's been here in Stoddard County. I thought he did an excellent job to advance in her. And before that, when he was at Puxico, I was very impressed with the job he did at Puxico. And I think that's bodes real well for Dexter for this year and in the future.
I agree.
Sure. So it's going to be a fun Stoddard County Conference this year. You're going to see some other teams. Bell City's starting to make their way up. They won the junior varsity last year, and C.J. Hadley's heading up Bell City Cubs now. So they're going to be right up there in the mix as well. So it'll be a fun conference this year.
C.J. Hadley he's going to do a good job, doing a good job already. He's got a lot of basketball savvy, and I'd say he's probably a hard worker, and he's going to put in the time. And I look for good things for Bell City. They're going to improve.
Sure.
But you're talking about this. I was impressed with this Bloomfield team last night.
Yeah.
Bloomfield's a very nice team, and they played Puxico in that third and fourth place game, and that was a Puxico and Bloomfield both. They're going to be something to contend with because Puxico's big.
Yeah.
And they're maybe a little raw around the edge, but I think they were tired last night from battling the night before. But both those teams, they could make some racket in this Bloomfield tournament.
Well, Bloomfield has Vandiver back, and that's a pretty good foundation to start on.
Yeah, no Vandiver. Yeah.
Look very, very good, both teams.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a strong year for the Stoddard County Conference. It's going to be fun to watch. It's pretty deep this year.
Yeah, it really is.
That's deeper certainly than it has been in years past. So that'll be fun to watch this year in Stoddard County. And we're going to take a break to break this up a bit. We're going to have one more coach. We got Travis Day of New Madrid County Central. He's going to be along with us, and we're going to take a break and be back with more coming up.
Always on the go. Take the best in TV entertainment with you with New Wave to Go. Now you can enjoy your home television service everywhere, anytime on your laptop, tablet, or smartphone. Watch your favorite channels and sporting events live via the internet. You can access your home DVR to enjoy your recorded shows and movies or to set up future recordings. Prices start at just $12.99 a month. So call us today and ask about New Wave to Go. Another innovative service brought to you by New Wave, your local communications experts.
And we're back, and now we're going to have a conversation with Travis Day, head coach of New Madrid County Central. He's on the phone with us. And Travis, good to have you along for the show.
Oh, it's great to be on the show.
Sure. And, we want to make sure we got your graphic right. You're not Brad Botsch, you are Travis Day of New Madrid County Central. So, Travis, it's good to have you along with us, and you're certainly one of the teams to look out for this year. You had a great year last year, fell a little short in the district finals, or district tournament, but coming back this year, a lot of people looking at New Madrid to come out of Class 3 this year. So you've got a lot of returning players, notably Willie Jemerson, Javarcus Word, Ashton Newsom. So a very talented group coming back this year.
We got our core nucleus coming back from last year's team. So far so good for us, but I think we're slowly maturing, and that'll be our success this year. We can mature as the season goes along because it won't be easy for us as we start on SEMO Conference tournament Monday. So Monday next week will definitely let us know where we're at as a team.
Sure, and you certainly going to be a very competitive SEMO Conference this year. You got the SEMO Conference tournament coming up this week. And you're right around in the middle of the pack if we can see those district seedings this year for the tournament. That'll be getting underway Monday of this next week. And talking about your first round game, so how do you like that, or what do you like going into this matchup in this tournament, Travis?
In this tournament, it's so competitive that 1 through 9, anybody can win any night. I think it's going to be a very competitive game between us and Notre Dame. After they just came off an overtime win over Charleston. It's going to be very good.
Sure. And a very deep conference as it's been. It's about the deep, over the last year coming into this year, it's probably the deepest I've seen the tournament. And it's, New Madrid's right there in the middle of the pack when it comes to the seedings this year, and Charleston's at a 6th seed. As you see there, New Madrid's going to open up with Notre Dame. We've got a victory over Charleston last night. Charleston, a 6th seed, which they're going to be a very talented team this year. So certainly a deep conference this year, Travis. And certainly come district time, you should be prepared going through this conference schedule.
And that's the thing that you love and you hate about our conference. It's one of those. It's so tough that night in and night out, you got to hope that the kids are ready to battle. But at the same time, you're as a coach, you hope it is prepare you for the end of the season when you can start district play.
Sure. And talking about your roster a little bit, Travis, Willie Jemerson sticks out. He's been playing at a high level for these past 3 years. Coming into his senior year, I'm sure he's ready to play up to his potential. But you also got Ashton Newsom, been a very good force down low for you. Michael Walker, nice guard. But this Javarcus Word that played as a freshman last year came in and played very well as an underclassman. So certainly looking forward to a nice sophomore campaign from him. What can you tell us about those players?
Well, the two people I see here, I think as a coach is, like you said, Marcus Word, who he's going to run the point for us, and we're going to take the ball out of Willie's hands where he could be more of an attacking two-guard. So if Marcus can handle the ball and handle that pressure of being a point guard for us, I think our season can really be good, because that takes the pressure off of Willie of having to handle the ball and at the same time put the ball in the hole for it. But I think we'll go as far as our inside guys. If we can have a good year out of our inside guys who's giving us points in the paint, just where teams can't just put their full focus on Willie. And I really like our chances if we can get that done.
Sure. Now, you got some nice contributing players. I know Kyle Causey, really good three-point shooter for you, and Drew Palmer, the nice contributing player as well. So you've got a really nice roster coming into this year. You're probably bringing back more than most teams, especially considering Class 3. So certainly got a very good roster that's been playing together for some time.
Well, this is probably the deepest we've been in a long time, where we can play those 10 guys strong night in and night out. So that's what I like about this group, that now we don't have to, just where wore one guy out where we're trying to play him the whole game. We could, give guys a couple minutes rest here and there, and we'll be good.
Sure. You guys want to chime in with Travis?
Last year in the district tournament, Travis, I noticed that Donnie Jenkins' boy, I can't even remember his first name. He came in and got some good minutes.
Jenkins.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's what he's getting better at. He's another big body at paint for us. The good thing for Dion that he might not score a lot for us, but he's doing well of defending the post and grabbing boards for us.
That's what I noticed when he played in the district. He came in, and like you said, he came in and played his role and did a good job. And he's a big body, a strong-looking kid.
Right, he's very strong. He's almost, I always say, he's almost too strong. He get a lot of fouls called up because people bounce off of. I like that those. So Dion, he set his role. He knows his role. Get in there and a rebound for it. So far, so good. He's done that.
And Travis said it's been, the Class 3's been very competitive. Past couple of years, you've been with Charleston and Crothersville's been right there in the mix. Going to be a little different this year. Charleston moves out west, so it's going to be a little different not having Charleston and New Madrid County Central in the same district tournament.
Yeah, it's been a long time since that happened, but I think Hayti is going to be tough. They're always very athletic team. He's probably in Porterville and King of Bourneville stepped up in Class 3, District 1. So I think, we lost a good team in Charleston, but I think three teams that's going to step in and, they can pick up on you.
Sure. Hayti and King of Bourneville going to move into Class 3 this year, so see Charleston move out, but those two teams, a couple of more teams, moving into Class 3 after the redistricting class assignments for this upcoming year. So certainly it's going to be fun to watch New Madrid this year, seeing how they compete throughout the year in the CMO Conference and in the Class 3 come district time. So Travis, we'll be seeing you down the road in some big games this year, and we appreciate you spending some time with us this morning.
No problem, Tyler. Anytime.
Okay. All right. And it's Travis Day for New Madrid County Central, and this is one team that at the end of last year you knew coming into this year New Madrid was going to be one of the teams to beat in Class 3 and going to be very competitive in the CMO Conference. So if you're an Eagle fan, it's looking to be a good year for the Eagles.
I think it's going to be a real good year for the Eagles. They're of course being fifth seed in the CMO Conference is not being slighted in the least bit as good as the CMO Conference is, but they're going to be very competitive in that conference. It would not be an upset if they were to win that conference. Of course, it wouldn't be an upset if any of 6 or 7 teams wins that conference, as tough as that conference is. But coming into this year, and the Madrid's already started playing well. They did well in the River Bend. They're going to be good. We knew they were going to be good when you got Willie Jimerson. When you don't have to rely on Willie Jimerson to handle the ball, and like Coach Day said, you can use Jimerson as your 2 guard and not put all the burden of the entire offense, run the entire offense on him, and let him use all his other skills as a 2 guard. And you got Word there to handle the one position. That's just an outstanding backcourt, and we noted last year how much better their front line got during the year last year. So I think New Madrid's really going to be good.
Yeah, Newsom stands about 6'4" underneath. Mm-hmm. He's a strong body
and
underneath.
Big. Yeah. He's a big 6'4". Yeah. He plays big. No, I think New Madrid's going to be very good.
Yeah, they've got balance at pretty much every facet of the court. Aston Newsom down low, Willie Jimerson, he's going to do everything for the Eagles, and Javarcus Word in his sophomore years playing well. Jenkins coming in as well. Michael Walker, right, solid senior guard, and Kyle Causey and Drew Palmer, got some contributors as well. Sure. Kyle Causey shoots the ball well. Palmer can shoot it well, and he's got some size as well that he can really contribute in rebounding. So they got a very well balanced team, and going in Class 3, they look to be a very, very competitive team this year. So it'll be fun to see how New Madrid develops over this season. And sticking with the Class 3 teams, seeing Hornersville, we talked about them. They're going to be competitive towards the end of the year. Hayti is going to be there in the mix. You'll take a look west as Charleston moves out to the Western District. They're going to be up with Clearwater, which they've been matching up in the sectional round quite a bit. Clearwater and Charleston losing some key players to last year, but they returned arguably the best player in Southeast Missouri, Delfinko Bogan.
He was named the best player last year.
Conference Player of the Year last year, so he's going to have to do more this year, but he's certainly capable. But Clearwater's going to have a tough team. They bring back. His name escapes me. We don't see him a whole lot other than when they play Charleston.
Yeah, the left-handed kid.
Yeah, the left-handed kid. Been very good his sophomore and junior campaigns, and he's going to be certainly competitive this year. So, that district out there with Charleston Clearwater could be
Clearwater
interesting.
got beat by East Carter.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah. No, that's something we haven't been able to say in a long time. But, so that tells you how much better that's getting out there. But East Carter beat Clearwater. I just by looking at the score, that's a huge upset. But Charleston, of course, they returned Del Bogan, but they've already played pretty well. Yeah. They got beat by Notre Dame at home last night in overtime by 2 on a putback with 3 seconds left. But I think they missed a couple of free throws, which would have put them ahead late. Charleston's going to be good, and from what I understand, Bogan's, of course, he can do everything, will do everything, but he's spreading it around to make sure everybody on his team contributes and everybody plays their role. So Charleston's going to be good.
Yeah. And touching on the bigger schools, Jackson's right there in the mix. They went pretty far in the state tournament last year, out to the quarterfinal round. Just fell short of the Final Four. They're returning a very solid group.
They're big. They got a D1 player. I can't think of his name right now. It's going to be. He's going to go to Yale, but he's going to be a D1 player. They've got a guard. They've got everything they need for a really, really good team. Lots of size and good guards. Yeah. So I think Jackson's probably, if there is a class of SEMO, it's Jackson. But then right behind them, look at Cape Central. Look at Cape Central. You talk about some athletes with Statham, who's already
Jacksonville State.
He's already signed for Jacksonville State, and
Al Young.
Al Young, who came out of nowhere last year to be one of the best players in Southeast Missouri, and then continued it on the football field, and now he's going to be back in basketball.
Yeah. I hear Peyton Montgomery's going to be able to contribute in basketball. He's a quarterback that came over from Chaffee, and he'll be on the basketball court. So.
Well, if they get anything else, they're not losing. They're losing a lot because they lose Cox.
Yeah.
But they've got a lot of athletes, and they've got Statham and Young, and that's two pretty good cogs to start with. Notre Dame's going to be good. Sykeston's always good. They lost a lot, but they're kind of like we talked about with Bernie. They're always going to be good. And Charleston, Bernie and Charleston, and those schools that have such continuity in their coaching program and in their program, they're always going to be good because, one, they play defense, and they just have a program that the kids buy into. Sykeston doesn't have a whole lot coming back from their experience, from what they had last year. They have Dyes and a few others, but they've got a lot of other good players coming in. I think Dexter could probably tell you how good Sykeston is. So top to bottom, the SEMO, Poplar Bluff's going to be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With Stocks,
Gibson over there, Stacy Gibson.
Gibson graduated.
Oh, did? Oh, I'm thinking Stocks is back.
Stocks is back, and they've got Eiler, and Poplar Bluff always has 7 or 8 pretty good players, and this is William Durden's 3rd year as coach over there. Of course, we know his coaching lineage with playing for Jim Bible and Gene Bess and Luce over in at Austin P. And coached a long time with Gene Bess. So his program's getting in place in Poplar Bluff, and he's in his 3rd year, and I think they're going to see reap more benefit out of that. So top to bottom in the CMO Conference, Kennett's going to be a decent team. They're going to be a lot like they were last year. They're going to be young. Like Jad Kinney's who started as a freshman, ended up the year starting as a freshman last year. Is a good underneath player. So Kennett's going to be a whole lot like they were last year, except of course they're not going to have Cavante Mitchell, which is like saying, okay, we're going to have spaghetti and meatballs, except we're not going to have meatballs.
Really?
So, but Kennett's going to be a competitive team, and then we've talked about Dexter. Dexter, by the end of the year, I think they're going to be they're going to be much better. So there aren't going to be any weak sisters in the CMO Conference, and that's going to be a wonderful year, I think, for the CMO Conference.
Yeah.
When you talk about, and a lot of these conferences, CMO Conference, Stoddard County Conference, Tri-County is always competitive. The Boot Hill conferences we've talked about, and those get to be so much fun when February starts and the conferences start to shake out and the conference tournaments come up and you start figuring out who's going to be the conference champion, the tournament champion, those conference tournaments. It's always going to be fun.
It's fun.
It's always fun.
That Tri-County Conference is always fun.
Yeah.
But usually in Tri-County Conference, you got 1 or 2 schools. Normally it's going to be this one. Well, this year they're just loaded up from Clarkton, Gideon. Got C7, Cooter. Cooter jumps up and beat South Bend. So man, it's all these conferences going to be a toss-up.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
That's what makes it so much fun.
Right. That's why I like Southeast Missouri basketball.
I love it.
We talk about it all the time. We got some good teams. We got some good kids. They make mistakes. They do things. Yeah, sure they do. But look around the state of Missouri. We think we got problems. They got a lot worse problems.
Yeah, and one thing I think, and I think it's getting better every year. I think top to bottom, the coaching in Southeast Missouri is getting better because you're seeing a lot of young coaches who have grown up and had experience under some of the what I say older coaches. The older coaches are still around. Then we got the young coaches coming in, and and they're establishing programs in places that have been down. Lucas Nutt down at Zenith, new coach, and Zenith's going to be, I think, end up being very good. Southeast Missouri basketball is in fine shape, and we're going to have a good time covering it.
You bet you.
Sure are, and it's going to be a fun year, and hopefully you all join us. We're going to have plenty of games on the schedule. We talked about South Iron and Bernie. We're going to have Tuesday night, and we got the game Thursday. That one escapes me, but Friday night we'll be down in Campbell for Mall and Campbell. A lot of games to come, and hopefully you'll join us for the rest of the way. It's going to be a fun way to go. We're just getting started, and we'll look forward to getting to all of them for this year. And Terry McVey, Tommy Jacques, and myself are going to bring you a lot of those contests, among others, and we'll be looking forward to having you along for the ride for this basketball season. So we appreciate you for tuning in for today's preview. A lot to look forward to going forward, and we'll look forward to sharing it all with you here on YHC TV and CMOSportZone.com. And guys, we appreciate you stopping by today.
Always enjoyed it.
We're looking forward to it once again this year, and it's going to be fun. And we'll see you next time for the Roundtable. Until then, take care, everyone.